My name is Maureen Glenn, and I've just stepped out of the classroom. I have been a teaching principal for the last lifetime, and so I'm also the full-time co-convener of the EARI network that we heard about just at the very beginning there. Okay, so right now we're going to explore ideas around how theory influences practice. And because we're involved in self-study action research, and because we're involved in critical reflection, I'm going to kind of ask everybody, I'm going to ask myself questions, and I'd like you to join in me maybe in reflecting on how we might deal with these questions. Okay, so we expect our lawyers and our engineers and our architects and our builders to have a certain amount of knowledge, in fact a huge amount of knowledge about the work they enact for us. And we expect them to be very au fait with it, and we expect them to know why they are doing what they are doing. And I just wonder, and here's the first of my questions, as teachers, do we hold the same expectations for ourselves? Doubts about the relevance of educational research have been kind of percolating for the last while. Winch, Unsia and Orchard say that the idea of educational research is irrelevant to practice and that enjoys wide support. And that is echoed by Brookfield's idea, and he says, there are many who see theory as the enemy of practice. Now, to be deadly honest, I could pretend here that I kind of agree with that, but I don't really. And neither do my three colleagues either. But I mean, it definitely is a question that we kind of need to kind of at least be aware of. Okay, even if we agree that theory is important to practice, we need to ask ourselves, are teachers themselves interested in accessing theory? Hicks says, teachers continue to cling to an image of theory as incomprehensible jargon that has nothing to do with everyday problems and concerns. Now, I know myself, teachers are part of that hurry-along curriculum that Dads has talked about. And we haven't time to think, we haven't time to go to the toilet, let's be honest. Never mind even engage with something as kind of far out from real everyday practice as theory. At least that's what lots of us think. Okay, so even if we think that theory is an element of practice, and even if we think that teachers should access theory, we have to ask ourselves a really important question. Can teachers, are they able to access theory? Is there a problem around it? Now, I know the Teaching Council in this country have done huge work in making some of the EBSCO database and library available to members of the Teaching Council, which is something we suggested ourselves to the Teaching Council in our report of 2010. But at the same time, it's still a very restricted way of accessing. I know myself from experience that maybe I only get about 1/3 of the books I want or the papers I want, you know, even though, as I say, it is a big step up from nothing, from zero. So we have to ask ourselves about the structure of the academic library and the few who have access to it, and how this is viewed by everybody as being like, okay? This is surely hegemony at its very best. Gramsci claims that people learn their own oppression by internalising the common sense ideas swirling in the air. And that's one of the common sense ideas that are swirling in the air. We, as teachers, feel it's okay to be excluded from libraries. We've become willing prisoners, according to Brookfield, who lock our cell doors behind us. And it's true. Okay, so even if, so it's my final even if we think that theory is important to practice, and even if we think that teachers, are able to access it, we also have to ask ourselves about the literature that is in the libraries, the theory that is written, and is it digestible actually for teachers, or is it written in yet again a hegemonic way, in a language that is archaic and academic and basically too dry to be even looked at? Okay, there are my questions. What I really think is that theory is a crucial aspect of the whole educational practice idea. I think it's as important to us as the coffee is in our cappuccino. It is crucial. Okay, theory ought to be a thinking tool and not a straitjacket, as Lingard has said. And as we often, as critical reflective practitioners, we often engage in Brookfield's lenses. He talked about using the lens of our own autobiography, the lens of our students, the lenses of our colleagues, and the lenses of theory to inform our ideas about our practice. And he says that theory causes us to wake up to our innermost thoughts. He says, you stumble on a piece of work that puts into cogent words something you've felt but been unable to articulate. And I think anybody who has engaged with theory can really just feel that. Now, he's